Hello and welcome to your first Blender tutorial. In this tutorial I try to take away the fear of starting out with Blender. We will slowly get through the basics and get everything to know here. Like what we see in this scene, how we navigate through it, what these things are, what are the tabs for, and yeah, let's start. So before starting Blender, we should decide which version we will use. On blender.org, you can just directly go to the download and hit this button for the newest version. But maybe you got a really shitty and old PC, so you can also look for previous versions. Download any Blender, and then we see here a really unattractive list of versions. So much stuff that we face here hasn't really changed since the great overwork of Blender. This means you could basically start with Blender 2.8 and then up to 4.3 everything is possible. Yeah. So let's open Blender again. If you just opened Blender and started the program, it should look similar to this. First, you can decide what you are gonna create here. Is it in general, which means I'm working mostly in the 3D space? Are you doing like a 2D animation? Are you sculpting and working with digital clay? Do you do some VFX, like effects, visual effects like water, fire, lightning, something like that? Or do you do some video editing? Blender is really versatile, so you can do, I just hit general here, but if you misclick, you can also go here to file, new, and then pick one of it again. You don't want to save, and here we are again. Where was I? Ah, yeah. In the tabs, you can see it's really versatile. You can do modeling, sculpting, UV editing, texture painting, shading, animation, rendering, compositing, geometry nodes, scripting, and stuff like this. You can adjust it here also and add new tabs. Yeah. All of this you see here is highly adjustable. You can go right in between of the modules and bring it like over here. If you drag or keep click the mouse and then drag it over there, you can basically change the viewport here. So we just brought the scene collection here up. But I'm going back. Just for your information, because when I just started out, I used to misclick at some of these areas. So let's go with what we actually see here and how we navigate through it. Every new scene starts with a cube, a light, and a camera in this scene. So where we are actually here, what we see is a three-dimensional coordinate system. We see an x-axis, which is red. We see a y-axis, which is green. And if you, the blue one, the height, the z-axis, it's actually hidden in this view, but try to go with number 1 of your numpad and press it. Then you get kind of a front view, which is a total front view, which means you can't see the y-axis, but you see the x-axis and the z-axis here. You can, for example, now press 3 and you're going to side view, meaning y and z-axis is now visible. You can also go to top view, like pressing 7, and there you are, seeing everything from the top. Every numpad key changes the perspective to the object from your view. Just try to experiment a little bit with that and have fun. Like hitting 9, hitting 6, 6 again, 5, 2, 2, 2, 3. Yeah. And that's for the total view. You can click and hold your mouse wheel and then move it around to like freely circle around the object you see. Yeah. You can also scroll with the mouse wheel to go nearer and scroll out to go farther. By right clicking, you will open some object related. This is the object here. If you click it, stuff to change it. You can left click in the area here to deselect it. Yeah, selecting means it's orange surrounded. You can also do like click and drag over the screen to select multiple objects here. Like so. We selected all of these three. We can also select one by one by clicking, holding shift and clicking the next one. Yeah. Or for example, I select these two and I click control and then I click this one. Then I only selected this one. Stuff like that. Let's now say we don't want to just move around the cube. We also want to move to this area here maybe. Then you could hold shift on your keyboard, click down the mouse wheel and then move to the side. While holding down shift, you can go, yeah, now we're going down, now we're going up. Experiment a little bit with that, where it brings you. You can, yeah, turn around by clicking again down only mouse wheel, rotating around, then going with shift and adjust, not to the center related. Yeah, you can also hold down control and going with the mouse wheel, holding down, going in to like really going in and far going out. Yeah, actually it's a really big empty room. You can imagine like that. So let's now get to the objects here. The camera, you can click it, and while clicked you can press the 0 button and then you get the view of the camera. Yeah. So that's set. While holding down the mouse wheel and moving again, you can get to the normal view back again. And we also got a light. Yeah. What is the light gonna do? The light lights the area around it. Normally, if you looked like with a normal view on it, everything would be black. So if I delete it, oops, if I delete it, why does it not work? Right click, delete. You can back up here, viewport shading, up in the right here. You can change the viewport shading mode. We could click this one. And then we could click this one, viewport shading. Then it, yeah, just shows you the scene, how it would look normally. If I bring back the light, yeah, by Control Z, I can actually see in this view how it would affect the object. I can click it and move it around by pressing G. Yeah, and you can move it around and see how the effect changes. While changing the position, different planes here of the cube are lighted. And that's it. Every 3D scene starts with these three objects. For basic modeling, we don't really need camera and light. It's just a basic scene setup. I go back to the last view here, and then I will delete camera and light. Oops. Or right click on this delete. And there we go, only with the cube. So let's now understand what the cube here is actually, how we can change it or adjust it. And yeah, but yeah, let's put him aside, pressing 1 here, and then you could go G. And if you hit G and, for example, X in this mode, you can move it alongside the x-axis. The same goes for G and Z. So it's just moving alongside the height, but you can also go like G and put it like aside here. Okay. If you hit Shift and A, then you could add stuff. For example, other forms or stuff like that. I want to go with a plane. Yeah, select it, hit GZ, bring it up a little bit. And then if you want to go to the edit mode, of course you can edit this stuff here also. I could go like hitting S for scaling. Yeah, up and down. Or hitting S and, for example, Y to scale this stuff on the right axis. And I could also go like R for rotation. Yeah, freely. Or I could say, let's just RX, so rotate on the x-axis. That's it. So then let's hit tab. Yeah, so we're now in the actual edit mode. This is hitting tab again. You can see it up here in object mode, but hitting tab again, we're in edit mode. And now we could also adjust not the whole object itself, but also its own elements. Like this vertice, when you're hitting 1 on your normal keyboard, just above the Q and V, then you are in vertice mode, which means you can select one of these dots here and adjust them. Like, for example, let's move them with G. Yeah, hitting the right mouse button sets it back. We can also go Shift and select the next one, then G, and we could, for example, yeah, move it here. We could by S scale it, stuff like that. But that's kind of cool. We could also hit 2 or click here for the edge select, which means it you're selecting the whole way between 2 vertices. This is an edge. You can adjust it. And then there is 3, which is the face mode, selecting the whole face here. So yeah, that's basically it. We are having points. We could, for example, let's go here and delete them. So the smallest possible form here is a vertice. This is 1 point. When you're hitting E on the keyboard, you can extrude and create an edge, for example. Let's now hit E again. So we have kind of a triangle. Yeah. We can now go hit 2 on the keyboard for edge. Select both edges and then hit F. So now we're creating a face out of the 2 edges. So yeah, and this, so the smallest face possible is a triangle. Today we're mostly working with 4 edges, which is a polygon, but there are game engines, for example, like that prefer triangles in a 3D model. Yeah, one thing we have to notice when we go into modeling is that when we later import the model, or we're going to render it, which means we're creating like an image out of that, like a PNG file, or maybe we want to record or create a little animation so it gets out a movie file like an MP4, then we have to take care of face orientation. This is something I stumbled over after months of learning Blender. This was, yeah, kind of a gap in my knowledge. So this means every face is just shown in one direction when you render it. And creating mode, this seems like both-sided. Okay, but it's not actually, only one side is visible. This is maybe kind of an abstract, but yeah, but just keep it in mind for later. There is, clicking here, a face orientation mode. So we could check. Yeah, I'm just hitting 3 here for the example. Yeah, clicking to here, and then I'm hitting Shift D to duplicate just this plane, just for an example. And if I go to the other side, blue is, by the way, in face orientation mode. That what is actually visible, for example, for game engines, and the other side is red, which would be not visible, or you maybe have some problems with lighting or textures later on. It's maybe a little bit early to show you that, but just keep in mind that there's kind of a control mode here if your model is, yeah, correct sided, yeah, in terms of faces. Just for an info. Now we have here a separate segment, but it's in the same object here. In the scene collection, you can, by the way, see what objects are actually in this big room here, and it's the same object. Maybe I want to, yeah, edit it separately. So let's hit tab again to edit mode, and then we select this face 3 and select with left click, and then I could do hit P. Yeah, when I hit P, I'm in separation mode, and then I can, yeah, separate my selection. And now we've created another cube. Yeah, in fact, that's not a cube, that's a plane. So I could double click here and write plane. There we go. You can give them names. You can make new collections like so if the scene gets very complex. So you can organize a lot of stuff here. Give it colors, something like that. Give it a hierarchy. That's kind of cool. So maybe I, yeah, edited this separately, but now I want to join it again. So I can click on the one, Shift, click on the other, and then hit Control J. And then they are joined again. So if I'm moving them with G, the scene, I can see they move as one object. Yeah. Maybe you already noticed this cursor here. Okay. I can actually set it. So yeah, let me show you what it does. Let's, for example, maybe I want to add right in the middle of this plane something. Yeah, I could, of course, let's separate these here. By the way, if I'm selecting, let's select the cube and separate it from the plane again. I just selected in edit mode one of the faces, and now let's hit L, and then it will automatically select all the stuff that is linked to the plane of the object. So now I got the whole selection. I could hit P again and separate it. Right, so let's say I want this cube, I want to make it little, and I want to place it right in the middle of the plane. I could do it by hand, but this will maybe not really accurate, right? So let's do it in a different way. You see this orange dot here. That's kind of the origin of the object. Yeah, you can see, oh, when I select this plane, it uses the origin from the old cube back then. And this is actually not good. I want to have the... Oh no, let's do it the other. Let's do it the other way. That's maybe simpler. I do Shift S while selecting this plane, and then I could make the cursor to select it, and then it goes to the origin. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's do it like so. Let's go on the plane, right click on the object, and then I could say set origin. And then I want to set the origin, or rather set the geometry to the origin. So now I have automatically the center, and that's now, you can see it moves with the plane. That's the origin. And now I can say for the cube, because the cursor is already there, Shift S, you can then do something with the cursor, like cursor to world origin, for example, which is here where all axes meet. I could say I want to have this cube to the cursor. Let's select this cube, Shift S, and then selection to cursor. And then I got the cube right in the middle of the plane, which is absolute correct positioning here. Yeah. That said, Blender is really shortcut heavy, and there are often better solutions than doing stuff by hand. Yeah. This said, there is, for example, a great thing when you do repetitive, or let's say complex but symmetrical things, which are modifiers. I'm now going to these tabs over here now. So let's delete everything. Yeah, select it, right click, delete, or hit X. I think it depends on the Blender version. Sometimes that's a delete key, I guess. So Shift A, and let's now do, you can see there are a lot of forms, yeah, but let's not make it too complex. I'm just adding a plane. And let's say we have a table or something like that. Yeah, I go to top mode, hit 7, so I'm in the top view, and no, let's go with the cube. That's better. Let's go with the cube. And yeah, what we're gonna do, we now working with our first modifier. This is helpful stuff to, yeah, keep a lot of work away from you. Hitting Control R and hover over this. You see this yellow line here. This is actually a loop cut. By clicking one time, you can place it. And then you can see you can adjust it along this line. Just right click for leave it right in the middle. Yeah, we will now separate or cut this thing in half. But for loop cuts, they're really cool to add some complexity in a fast way. And then you can, in edit mode, adjust the stuff and give it like other forms. Yeah, you can also do by Control R and using your mouse wheel, make more loop cuts, which is kind of cool. You can also, if I just go to Edge mode, let's hit Alt and click this one, you can select the whole loop cut, and let's know that was the, let's hit 2 times G. 1 time G is like moving freely, but hitting 2 times I can correct this on the axis without distorting the cube. Let's go to top mode. And I now want to make something complex, but I only want to model the half of it because I'm doing some symmetrical stuff. So I'm going to face mode, and now I want to click here on the upper right. This is viewport shading, which makes it all visible. You can look through it and you see there is a whole face when there's a dot right in the middle that helps you a little bit of understanding where whole faces are. Hitting 7 again for the top view. And now I want to select one side. You can see it's all selected. Hitting X, I want to delete the faces here, and now they're gone. Yeah, for now I can look through it. I have here something cut in half. So I'm going back to object mode. Select it, hit SZ. I want to make it smaller. Like so. And let's make it wider here on the x-axis. So I'm going for tab, hit 3. I'm selecting this edge. And now I have the possibility, of course, to move like GX and go like simply more here. But maybe I want to add more complexity and I can hit E, which is extruding. Yeah, it will automatically extrude alongside this axis here. Yeah, but let's Control Z it. I want to actually hit E, and when I'm now clicking down the mouse button, not the mouse button, the mouse wheel, and then no, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Hitting after extruding, or if you select something and want to move it, but more controlled. Yeah, you hit G and then Shift. Then it goes way slower. Then you can really go, you see, it's not so sensitive here. Okay. GX. Like loosely meet it up here. And there we go. I'm actually doing a tail here. So let's do one more loop cut here. Control R. Right in the middle, I guess. Nothing too overcomplicated. Yeah, that's still open here. That's good. And let's do some legs for the table. I can select both sides and then the eye. Yeah, let's move it like here maybe. I want to extrude the table legs from here. This looks not so right? Okay, it depends on the design, I guess, of the table. But that's not what I want to do here. Control Z for going back. I'm hitting E again. Going like so maybe. And then you see this little thing here. Inset faces. We are insetting faces here. I can click it and then you change some stuff. Let's do it individual. So I'm having these like correctly framed, and then I maybe want to scale it, but it scales, yeah, like towards the middle. Let's hit Alt S. Then I'm like scaling on the height here. But what I want to do is selecting maybe one. Yeah, that's better. And then scale it down. Okay. We can do it by hand, or we could also say S minus, not minus 1, S minus 0.5. That's maybe kind of crappy. Let's not go too overcomplicated here. Yeah, I'll make it simple. Add one loop cut here, one there, and one in the middle. Yeah, so we have smaller cubes here. Select these both two, and then go down. That's it. We have some nice table legs. And now the other half of the table is missing. Of course, you could clean that up. These are many faces. When you're working, for example, on assets for a game, every face or extra face does cost performance, and performance is really important for games. You want to run your game smoothly. Yeah. So the less faces, the better. Let's add a modifier. Clicking on modifiers, add modifier, search, and we're searching for mirror. Enter, and there we go. Yeah. To make sure it's correctly displayed, in this case it is, always hit Control and A. Oops, I mean hit Tab in object mode and then apply all transforms. Okay, crazy. Now it just turned my face orientation around. Good that I'm still in this mode here. So hitting Alt and N, well, maybe hit A. So I'm selecting all the faces by hitting A, then Alt N, and I can flip the normals. Okay, now it's placed in the right direction. And now that I know that I'm right here, unchecked it, and there we go. And I want some wireframe modes to yeah. Let's go back to the viewport shading. Maybe I hate this gray, yeah. So let's open this here, this little arrow, and we can change the lighting we are working with. Go to Matcap and click on here. Maybe that's better. I don't know. But that's just the something like play. But that's just the view you're working with. That's not that it comes out as a result. Okay? When you're going to the viewport shading here on the right, which is actually showing what is really there, it would still be a gray table. So that's just for working. Okay? We can, on the mirror, exactly say which axis should be mirrored. And we're here on the x-axis, so that's correct. And the cool thing is that if you change something on the original one, like let's extrude, for example, again, you can see the mirror directly adapts to it. Yeah, that could spare a lot of time. Okay. So let's maybe, should I clean it up? No, not really. I'm lazy. Let's actually give it more complexity here. Maybe this is like really sharp. Oh, I don't want to hurt somebody here with these sharp edges. So I'm hitting Alt and clicking on this stuff, but I want to select all the edges here. So Alt, Shift, and hold Shift and Alt, and then you can click all the edges here. I want to do all these edges, not forgetting these ones. Oops, Control Z, Shift, not Alt anymore. I don't want to select the whole loop cut. I want to just the edges, and then let's make it smoother, okay? Shift Control B. And then you could, for example, do this thing, or just Control B and make it here. Make like a smoother edge. You can also adjust it here. This is the so-called bevel. Let's Control Z it. We can Control B again, and then let's make it more. And then, yeah, move your mouse wheel, and you can add here more loop cuts and make it like a lot smoother, like so. This is one way. We could also say give us a bevel modifier instead. Why does it not do anything? Is it to be on the top? I don't know. That's not working the way here I want. So by hand was cooler, I guess. Control B. And make it smooth. Yeah. Maybe this table is hell. I want to make some more pillar look to this stuff here. Yeah. So let's add a loop cut here and there. Select them both and then hitting 1. Oh no, 3. And then GZ to move it along the Z axis. And yeah, let's select this face ring here and this one. Then I can hit Alt E to extrude faces along normals to make it like, yeah, a little pillar looking detail here. Kind of cool, but still looking really sharp. So yeah, hitting Shift and clicking on everything that should get smoother and Control B. Maybe a little bit. I have to take care here of this part when I'm zooming in. When I hit Control B and go like too far, you see this becomes some messy shit. Going down with the mouse wheel, being careful here. Yeah, so that's closely to touch. Let's actually make it really close. And this is a good example of too much unnecessary complexity, hitting these 2 vertices and then right click, merge vertices. Yeah, we want to make it clean, so let's click this inner one first, the outer one second, merge vertices, merge at last. Yeah. So there we spared a little bit complexity. At last. Oops. This goes later for texturing and UV unwrapping. That's really important to keep your models clean, but there's a reason I'm showing you modeling first, because that's the base of the workflow. If you, for example, like me and like doing assets or characters for your video games, then you have to start with a model, and then other stuff comes after this, like retopology, UV unwrapping, rigging, ray painting, texture painting, animating, rendering, all those stuff. Modeling comes in this case first. Yeah. Okay. I kind of messed up here. Let's see if Blender can repair it by itself. Select this really messy face. Yeah, you should avoid everything that is more than 4 points that create one face. A triangle is good, a polygon is also good with 4 points, But if you have 5 or more points, then it's an n-gon. And that could also make crazy shit out of your textures or renderings. Just like the run for face orientation. Let's check. Is it? Oh, that's actually displayed correct here. So yeah, let's turn it off again. And I want to clean that up. Yeah. So selecting this face, of course, on the other side. Oh no, that's fine. Okay. And just go with this one. I could do one more mirror again. Yeah, I'm showing you it in a second. But let's now focus on this face. I'm selecting it, deleting it with X faces, and now I can select the edge here. Make sure everything is selected. Is this actually selected here? Oh, it's kind of messy. Delete the edge. There's one edge. I'm deleting this too. Okay. Selecting, no. Let's select these here and hit F for creating a face. We clean that up, and now I don't like that. But yeah, let's keep it short. Let's keep it short. Select this stuff. Let's see if Blender should not be able to repair this stuff directly. There is something that you can do with faces. You have your extra options like face, and then go with grid fill, beautiful faces. Oh, nothing happens. That's cool. Grid fill. Let's see what happens. No, that's too complex, maybe. Too complex of an issue for Blender. We fix it by ourselves. So, which was the side? This one. I'm selecting this top face here to know which side is the problem. This side is correct. Top view. Let's go to the grid mode. And hitting 3, we want to go to no, I want to the X-ray. Yeah, exactly. The X-ray, hitting 3, selecting all of the mesh stuff. So the whole half here, clicking, deleting faces. So now it's, yeah, just 1/4 of a table for now. Yeah, this full circle here, back to my old view, and I can just click also mirror, please, the y-axis. And now my table is back and repaired. And the cool thing, I only have to edit 1/4 now. So for symmetrical stuff like that, this is really useful. Okay, so let's now say, let's make this stuff longer here. Yeah. GX, and then right to the other side. We're in Hogwarts. Yeah, planning a great feast in the big hall, yeah, from Harry Potter, and we need more tables. Okay, so what we could do is, this X-ray mode is dumped. Yeah, select the object like shown before, hit Shift D, click down your mouse wheel, and then move it along the axis to have some copies, okay, of the table. We have Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, so it's 4, but the distance is not, I have to make it manually. That's not cool. I want to spend time in placing the objects. Oh, Control Z. I want to make a repetition of this model, but in a certain or every time the same distance. So new modifier, and there's an array. Okay. It now sets this stuff here along the x-axis with no distance between it, as it seems. I hit it 7 to go to top view to have a better overview. And it is determined by here, by the factor x1. But let's set this to 0. What I want is, I want it on the y-axis, so I'm hitting 1. That's actually the right direction. If I just want it on the other side, I could do -1. There we go. But I want 1 for now. And there are 4 tables I need, right? Like so. And then I could say, yeah, going to 3 to the side view or front view. Depends of how you place the model. If you place it on the x-axis, you're with me. If you place it alongside the y-axis, you have to hit 1. I have to hit 3. And there we have the 4 tables. Then you could increase the factor here by clicking. It automatically makes 1.1, then 1.2. But you could also be more exact by typing it individually. But I maybe want to make 2. That is good. Oh no, 3. Okay, there we go. Perfect copies. You could, by clicking here and apply, you could apply this modifier, but then you couldn't change it anymore. For some modifiers, the hierarchy is important. You can drag and drop it and change it. I think here nothing really happens, right? Oh yeah, it destroys it, kind of. So in this case, we need the mirror modifier above the array. That's important to know. I also want to make a teacher table, okay? So yeah, maybe duplicating this whole stuff here. Duplicate, like Shift D, clicking the mouse wheel and then dragging towards here, reducing it to 1. I want to make the table bigger in whiteness, SY, like so. Then the array is not needed. Apply the mirror. Make it now a whole object. And now I can edit everything here. Top view and RZ90, enter. I've rotated it by 90 degrees alongside the z-axis. Scale it only in the y, so it covers this whole area. Yeah, placing it in the middle here, S, Y, G, Y, some fine adjustments. Yeah, if you want to be exacter, hit Shift and hold it down. That's slower. Click, and there we go. Going with the mouse wheel again. There we have kind of a hall here. And the table looks really empty, right? Let's add some simple objects. And yeah, the cool thing is you don't have to always start with the cube. Hit Shift A, and we're going for a new mesh. Maybe a cup or something like that. Let's go with the cylinder. That's here. You can adjust this cylinder right from the start. Like go with 16. That's maybe enough. 16 vertices. Clicking it. Going to side view. I'm scaling it. Like really down. It's a small cup. Scrolling in. Yeah. Dips a little bit into the surface here. That's okay for me. Going a little bit more up. Yeah, that's hard to drink, right? Let's make the upper part maybe a little bit bigger later, but for now I want to insert the face here, hitting 3, clicking, insert this face, and then extrude downwards. Oh, I don't see anything. GZ. So when I'm hitting here, that's good. Not too big. Going back with, yeah, clicking one face, clicking on the edge here, holding Alt, selecting all this stuff, and then doing S. Alt S, no, I want to just S. Make it wider here. It's a little bit more of a cup form. Not really rounded, right? Let's add a loop cut and scale it. Like so. Let's make it cooler. GZ. And selecting this face, going way more smaller. Extrude it. Extrude it again. Scaling it up. Going down. Yeah, for this scene, if I not move it, I could just leave it with no down face, but for now, it's fine. So that's more of a wine cup. Looking really edgy and sharp because it's low poly. I could just adjust it by beveling here again, but I could also go and right click shade smooth. But it looks kind of crappy, right? So Control Z, and I could just say subdivision surface. Oops. This adds automatically more complexity for your model, and then shade smooth. It makes it look a lot better. But this is kind of, the edge is kind of messy, right? I could fix it by adding more loop cuts. Place it around here, you can see. That's better. Maybe also here. That's better. Also there. Better. 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 Search subdivision surface. And there we go. Now it looks really kind of cool. Yeah, and we are already really into modeling here. Now, that looks shitty, right? Let me give you a little bit of an introduction to materials. Let's add a camera. 7 going up. I do it manually here because not too much complexity first. Yeah. I want to see this cup. Right. But for now everything is dark. I need a light. I need a light. Give me some area light. Place it above here, scale it up and rotate it. I want some, I don't know, I can click on it. Yeah, and then we are automatically here at this green icon. I can give it more power. Give me 1000 and click here. Make it some dimmed, I don't know, golden light. Duplicate this stuff. Bring it to the other side. Like so. 200. Make it greenish. I'm just messing around here, right? And some backlight. Really big. Whitish. Okay. Now that's the perspective hitting 0. Going to the viewport mode here. Now you can see how it would actually look in this scene. The greenish from the right and the orange from the left. Clicking it again, maybe a little bit lesser. Yeah, cooler shadows, but it's still gray, right? So I got a cool possibility. Go to material. This is down here by clicking on the object, hitting new, and then give it a name, maybe cup. Okay. Why I'm doing that? Because when once created material, I can also go to another object and select my cup material and give it this color. Okay. So on the table, it's table. I'm going with a brownish, yeah, it's maybe wood. And the cup is grayish still, but it should shine, right? There's a metallic value here. You can click and drag it and make it more metallic. There we go. Maybe you have more complex objects, like what if the handle is wood? Okay, select this stuff here and then click new material, and then it's the cup handle, but it's light wood. It's so dark like the table, a sign, and then you can make it a different material than the rest of the object. So we already have two materials here. You don't have to edit this stuff here. It gets way more complex when you go to the shading tab. Yeah, it changes the viewport. And also when clicking on the cup, you can see what's happening here. We're currently at the cup material and can change and add a lot of stuff to it, like faking depth with a normal, roughness metallic. You can also make some patterns in it or stuff like that, but maybe too complex for the first video. Okay, so that's for modeling or for the most simple stuff in Blender. I think that's a good first impression. And we just, on the very top of a big iceberg, because Blender's, really a Swiss Army knife, you could say. It's not the best in like everything. For example, sculpting, it's really good. But there's also software like ZBrush or Maya. But Blender is free. And because of the really active community and the possibility of adding add-ons to it, this is a really powerful tool. And I know the hotkeys and the navigation through here can be kind of hard, especially when you are not really good at mental rotation or imagining stuff in 3D places. But this is a really cool tool. This is helpful, powerful even for 2D artists, like making some simple block outs here for using them as reference for your own works, like landscape paintings or interior stuff or whatever. This is super cool. So that was kind of an introduction video for this software. I hope you liked it. Please let me know if you want to take some deep dive into other topics here. Let me just know in the comments. I will pick out maybe the comment with the most likes and then make a video on it. Otherwise, I will just go with a character tutorial and I will cover the whole workflow, meaning I will show you the concept, how to put in the reference here, to how to use modeling and sculpting tools to get the character, then make color on it. So I will UV unwrap it, I will texture it, maybe I will texture paint it. Let's see. So I can individually do brush strokes on this. And maybe I will 3D print it in the end. Let's see. So What a nice view now, right? Hope it helped you a little bit. I know there are a lot of Blender videos out there, but yeah. If someone of you out there thinks that this one helped me a little bit, then don't hesitate to ask me for more stuff about Blender. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.